Problem number 4 tells us to draw the angle on the unit circle, label the reference angle, and evaluate using exact answers without using a calculator. We want to find the tangent of 210 degrees. In the previous problem, we saw that an angle that is 210 degrees ends in quadrant number 3, and it has a reference angle of 30 degrees. Since it has a reference angle of 30 degrees, when we think about the triangle that is created based on that reference angle, we have a 30, 60, 90 triangle that is created. In a 30, 60, 90 triangle, since we're in the unit circle, our hypotenuse is 1. And using our special right triangle rules, if you remember, the hypotenuse is equal to the short leg times 2, and the long leg is equal to the short leg times the square root of 3. Therefore, if we know the hypotenuse is 1, our short leg would end up being 1/2. And the short leg is always opposite the 30-degree angle. Therefore, this side of our triangle is 1/2. And our long leg is going to be the short leg times the square root of 3. We're going to multiply 1/2 by the square root of 3. And that's how we get the square root of 3 over 2. Now, if you want to, you can write both of these as negative, since this is the negative x direction and this is the negative y direction. Or you could wait until you've evaluated and then based on the quadrant determine whether our sign would be negative or positive. Now that we have all the sides on our triangle, we want to evaluate tangent of this angle. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. You could think of it as y over x or sine over cosine. There's many different ways that are all equivalent to view tangent and think of tangent. We have the tangent of 210 is going to be equal to our opposite, negative 1/2, divided by our adjacent, which is negative square root of 3 over 2. And since we have a division of fractions here, we are going to have to multiply by our reciprocal. When we multiply by our reciprocal, we get our 2's cancel, and we end up with 1 divided by the square root of 3. Then we're going to need to rationalize. We're going to multiply this by the denominator, and that's going to get rid of the radical in our denominator. 1 times the square root of 3 is the square root of 3. And the square root of 3 multiplied by the square root of 3 is the square root of 9, or 3. Therefore, we find that the tangent of 210 degrees is positive square root of 3 divided by 3.